experience and influential presidential address. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill love for learning. I cordially invite Dr. Archana R Sathyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Agricultural Extension Education and German Academic Exchange Service Research Ambassador for the program briefing.
Good afternoon all. Respected Chair, Honorable Vice Chancellor of KAU, Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Professor Dr. Habel Thomas Braun, the Max Planck Director, Germany, our Chief Guest and erudite scholar in residence, Professor Dr. Sanjay Behari, Director, ACT IMST, Professor Dr. Roy Stephen, Dean of Faculty, Professor Dr. Anith K N, ADR Dr. Professor Dr. Allan Thomas, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Extension Education, Professor Dr. Swapna Alex, Department of Biotechnology, and Ms. Kirtana, dear colleagues and my dear friends and students. BioZion, the International Biotechnology Conclave Science Society Interface is happening at College of Agriculture, Vellayani, in collaboration with Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, Kerala State Biotechnology Commission, and with the support of German Academic Exchange Service, New Delhi. The conclave will be happening here for 5 days from 7th to 11th August 2023. Overview of the program. This event has been conceptualized a year ago as a part of professional and personal skill development course under the Department of Agricultural Extension offered to the students of Integrated Biotechnology program. And now it has been shaped into the form as one of the remarkable events in the history of Kerala Agricultural University. The BioZion is a prestigious and influential event that brings together leading experts, academicians, researchers, professionals and students from the field of biotechnology, agriculture, natural resource management and climate change. The event aims to push collaborations, interdisciplinary collaborations especially, student integration beyond the boundaries of biotechnology research and applications to address critical global challenges. The main objectives of the conclave are knowledge sharing, networking, collaborations, etc. through our today's panel discussion on biotechnology towards 2047, workshops, training sessions, poster oral presentations, networking events, and career connect. We have 25 invited eminent speakers from various themes, 750 registered participants, and more than 1,200 students from College of Agriculture, Vellayani. Join us, the BioZion, to be part of an inspiring and impactful sessions that aims to shape the future of biotechnology research and thus contribute to the betterment of society as well. Together, we can pave the way for groundbreaking research discoveries, transformative advancement in the education sector, interdisciplinary and international collaborations for our academicians and students of Kerala. Special mention and thanks to Dr. Anoop, my enthusiastic and hardworking students of College of Agriculture, Vellayani, supportive faculties, government departments, especially State GAD Political, Tourism Department, Planning Board, and all sponsors for making this conclave a reality. So let us enjoy, encourage, evolve. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for walking us through the program and enlightening us on the scope and reach of this mission. We are fortunate to have our special guest of the day, Professor Dr. Habel Thomas Braun, Director, Max Planck Institute for Heart and Lung Research, Bad Nauheim, Germany. We welcome you, sir, for the inauguration ceremony. Let's mark the beginning of the conclave by watering the plant. This will be an indelible mark on our collaborative journey and a beginning for new innovations, collaborations, and boundless possibilities. Sir, I kindly request you to water the plant and inaugurate this international conclave.
I also request our guests on the dais to join Mr. Braun.
Thank you. Thank you all. Please be seated. With utmost respect and admiration, I extend a heartfelt invitation to Professor Dr. Habel Thomas Braun for the inaugural address.
So I didn't really prepare a speech here, but I would like to start that I feel really deeply honored to be here, to be invited, and to join you here, to give you some insights into our scientific concepts, reasoning, and also some insights in the research we are doing. So I think, and that's probably a very good idea, what you have done here, that real breakthroughs mostly happen when different disciplines interact and touch. So which is a bit of often frequently used word, interdisciplinary. Quite often you just put 2-3 disciplines next to each other, very little is happening, and then you call it interdisciplinary research. I think the challenge is to really integrate all these different approaches to find, coming from different perspectives, from different angles, really new approaches to move science forward. And also, it was already mentioned, I think it's of utmost importance that once you have identified outstanding researchers, that you also give these researchers freedom to pursue their sometimes crazy ideas. But then in the end, you have the chance to come up with something completely new. So I mean, I think a good example is a colleague of mine in the Max Planck Society, Emmanuelle Charpentier, who was one of the co-discoverers of the CRISPR technology. I mean, she initially studied immune defense in bacteria, which looks like a rather obscure field. Nobody paid attention. But then out of the sudden, she came up with the CRISPR-Cas technology that is also now used in plant biotechnology to increase mutagenesis, to engineer certain properties of crops. I mean, who would have expected that someone working on immune defenses in bacteria would come up with such a breakthrough? But I think this is just an exemplary thing where just curiosity-driven research sometimes evolves in something really big that is good for whole mankind and moves societies and science forward. So I think that was enough for my address. Again, I didn't really prepare a speech. It's more kind of an extemporation. So again, I'm very happy to be here to learn more about the exciting research going on in Kerala and in Trivandrum. So really looking forward for some days filled with exciting science and meeting new interesting people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your presence here itself is we are very grateful for that actually. As you said, let this be the greatest breakthrough for biotechnology and interdisciplinary research in our state. Thank you, sir. Among the myriad of academic pursuits that bind us together, the power of science to transcend boundaries and inspire minds remains unparalleled. Today, we unveil the book of abstracts that reflects the collaborative brilliance of our BioZion community. Within its pages, you'll discover a treasure trove of abstracts, each representing a small glimpse into the vast landscape of research and innovation presented during this conclave.
I kindly request Dr. Roy Stephen, Dean of Faculty, to present the book of abstracts to Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Vice Chancellor of Kerala Agricultural University. I humbly appeal Dr. Ashok to unveil the book of abstracts. Thank you, sir. This marks a collaboration that weaves our scientific community together fostering a spirit of camaraderie and shared aspirations. This scientific conclave would not have been possible without the unwavering support and dedication to advancing the frontiers of BioZion, the biotech capstone.
Our collaborator for BioZion, Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, Trivandrum, is a prestigious institute of endless glory. Their wealth of experience and profound insights are certain to enrich our understanding of the ever-evolving field of healthcare. We deeply appreciate your collaboration as it has played an indispensable role in making this event a reality.
We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to the invaluable partners of BioZion who stood by our side every step of the way. Our partners, the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, Kerala Biotechnology Commission, DAD, the German Academic Exchange Service.
To each of our esteemed partners who have shared their passion and commitment, we are truly grateful. Also, we are extremely thankful to the Kerala State Higher Education Council for their support in considering Mr. Braun under the Erudite Scholar in Residence program. Now, let's invite our chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Behari, Director of Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, for the keynote address.
Good afternoon. It's an absolute honor and privilege for me to be here at BioZone at the Kerala Agricultural University and this joint collaboration between Kerala Agricultural University and Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology. Honorable Mr. B. Ashok, who's the Vice Chancellor of Kerala Agricultural University, you're very lucky to have such a beautiful campus. Each of the trees of this campus has a character of its own. And from personal experience, I know that, all amaltas, they flower on the same day. All gulmohar flower on the same day. And I think you're in a beautiful campus. I congratulate you for keeping it so beautiful. I'm also grateful to Dr. Roy Stephen, Dean of the Faculty, College of Agriculture, and Dr. Soni, Professor of Microbiology and Biotechnology, for inviting me to come here. One small question which was raised today by Mr. Ashok was whether he is better off as an administrative service officer or whether he would have been better off as a professor. To answer this question, I'll tell you a short story. I was with a very senior officer, IAS officer one of these days, who was a medical doctor. We were standing together at a party, and he said, Dr. Behari, do you know that I was a doctor and I did my MBBS and then I went into IAS. So I said, if you were, do you feel better that you are an IAS officer, or you would have felt better being a doctor? So he said a very interesting thing. What he said was, I would have felt better being a doctor. However, I can help a lot more people and influence the lives of a lot more people by being an IAS officer. So I think that kind of answers your question. Professor Thomas Braun from the Max Planck Institute of Heart and Lung Research, Germany. I have worked in Germany. I was at Friedrich Alexander University at Erlangen, Nuremberg. And this was very close to the Siemens factory there. And every innovation at the Siemens factory would actually come to the Friedrich Alexander University Neurosurgery Clinicum. And the interesting thing was that we would experiment with it, we would use it, and then we would give suggestions to the main Siemens factory in Erlangen, and then it would kind of take off from there. So the very important thing that I learned there were the exacting standards which Germany maintains, which is because of which it is the industrial giant of the world. Welcome, Professor. Thank you so much for being here. I congratulate Dr. Thomas George, Dr. K.S. Anith, Dr. Allan Thomas, and Dr. Swapna Alex. the illustrious scientists who have devoted their lifetime to the progress of science and are being felicitated here. Congratulations, sir, to all of you. Thank you for being here. Members of the faculty, participants, ladies and gentlemen, ever since I have become the director of Sree Chitra, I often hear the phrase, I must strongly protest. When I ask the person, but why? Why must you protest? A puzzled look comes to the person's face and he says, why are you even asking me this question? This is Kerala. We are expected to do that. And here, in the same spirit, before I start my lecture, I must record my strong protest to the organizers. And what is this protest? I am a mere neurosurgeon who's neither exposed to a learning of biotechnology nor biomedical science and engineering. And to call me as a chief guest and to take this lecture for 20 minutes, I protest strongly. However, before I go any further, let me tell you another story. And so what happens is that a long time ago, the British light cavalry marched against the Russian forces during the Battle of Balaclava in the Crimean War. So there was a misunderstood order from their main general who said, charge. And all of them, without thinking anything, charged. And this is known as the charge of the Light Brigade. And as happened, this unplanned attack was immediately repelled, and the British had to retreat with a lot of casualties. This event was well exemplified in the beautiful poetry of Lord Tennyson, The Charge of the Light Brigade. Mine is not to reason why, mine is but to do and die. So therefore, since I have been given this opportunity, I plod on. I beg to state that in this adversity is also an opportunity. And therefore, when at 11 o'clock in the night, Dr. Mohanan, in an act of revenge, told me that I had to take this long speech, I cleared several of my own fundamental doubts, which I'll share with you. So I have decided to entitle my talk, What Everyone in this Audience is Aching to Know, but is too shy to ask. And there are 7 questions which I ask myself. The first of them is, what is the fundamental difference between focus on biomedical engineering at SCT-MST and biotechnology at Kerala Agricultural University? How many of you know the answer to that one? Some? Anyway, so at SCT-MST, it's biomedical science and engineering. It covers subjects such as biomedical instrumentation and device development for medical devices and instruments which are actually applicable to human use. This also includes biomaterials. Now, these biomaterials could be small particles which can be actually implanted. It could be biomaterials where you research on the basic biomedical devices. There is applied biology, which Professor Mohanan heads, where you actually do a lot of applied biology. You develop various spot diagnostics and other things. I will talk about them. And then you also focus on quality management. It deals with human health and clinical industry, computation and systems biology, drug delivery, designs, metabolism, and biomechanics. Therefore, the focus areas are medicine, public health, design, engineering, and mathematical concepts. So, for example, the study of bacteria and microorganisms focus on human health. Whereas the biotechnology, and especially the focus on Kerala Agricultural University, as you all know, will be on life sciences, chemistry, and it develops useful products for biological systems and organisms in the field of agriculture, food, medical industry, as well as vaccine development. The focus is on molecular biology, genetic engineering, biochemistry, animal cell and tissue culture, immunology, microbiology, especially focusing on its science. So there it is translational and applied biology and science and engineering. And here it is basically focusing on science and its applications. The second question is, what are the areas of bioconvergence? So when you look at software and engineering, as Professor Nair will just tell you, we talk about data, we talk about robotics, we talk about artificial intelligence and cloud computing, and we talk about material science. So that's a part of software and engineering. When we talk about pure biology, what do you talk about? We talk about chemicals, drugs, biological drugs. We talk about digitalization of biological data, and we talk about live cell imaging. And when you converge the two, the computers go into biology and biology goes into computers. What do you get? When computers get into biology, you get automated sample preparation, automated analysis, bioinformatics, and bioprinting. And when you have biology moving towards engineering and computers, what do you get? Assay development, single cell isolation, high throughput cell molecular processing, and single cell proteomics, genomics, etc. So you see, there is a bioconvergence of every field into one single field of convergence. There is interdisciplinarity, there is immersion in other fields, and you always reach out to other areas. Now, the third question is, what exactly are the steps of development of science and technology or biotechnology related products? There is a philosophical answer and there is a real answer. Let's first focus on the philosophical answer. We have an idea. We get an idea. 80% of the times, we suppress the idea. We are very happy with the idea in the night, but in the morning, you've forgotten it. But for those very limited number of people who actually take this idea forwards, there are two types of foci that you focus on. First of all is a serendipitous discovery. You take a serendipitous step, which means it's just by chance you suddenly discover something. The second is you prepare your mind to actually absorb the idea and take it forwards. The serendipitous step may work on an occasional time, but 80% of the time it's a failure. Whereas fortune favors a prepared mind, and that's what you are here to do. Actually, you must prepare yourself to actually absorb the idea. The second step of this is epiphany. What is epiphany? Epiphany means that you are continuously working at grave physical discomfort, at whatever is the cost that you have to pay to make sure that your idea is a success. And when you do that, comes the third step, which is discovery. So the three philosophical steps of developing an idea, epiphany, and discovery. And that is when the real trouble starts. Because the actual development in a real life scenario has a series of steps. What are they? Patenting that idea or the process. So one small thing that you must remember is that when you apply for a patent, it's not with a product. You apply with an idea, or you apply with a process, and that's what it is. The second very important thing is you work hard towards product development. It takes several years to develop one small product. Then the third thing is accreditation and testing. This is a very important component of whatever product you are developing. Most of us will leave any product that we develop at the point of developing it. But a very important point of developing it is testing it. And till you are absolutely sure of testing it, you cannot take it forwards. And then comes industry partnership. You have to partner with the industry to actually take the product forwards. And that leads to translation of the idea. And then it's commercialization, and of course, the financial protocols. So you need different groups and different skill sets to actually take your idea from the point of the idea to the point of commercialization. And therefore, just thinking of yourself doing the entire step will lead to a complete failure. What you need to have a team of people who's actually focusing on different steps of this idea. Now, what are some real life examples of biotechnology? For example, in agriculture, we all know growing more food by genetic manipulation, protecting crops from pests, adapting to changing climates, fertilizers, utilizing indigenous products, healthier plants, irrigation methodologies, all of them are in agriculture. In animals, selective breeding, genetically superior animals, cloning, preserving endangered species, and preventing diseases. These are animals. In medicine, personalized medicine. When you walk into the outpatient clinic, you not only give medicines to the patient, you not only look at the radiology of the patient, but you have a complete database of the entire history of the patient. And then you also have his genotype, you have his entire genetic basis, and on that basis, you actually apply medical principles and make it happen. Bioprinting of organs is no longer ethical now to test on poor animals. You can actually bioprint organs and then apply toxicology, apply pharmacology on bioprinting. You can have nanomedicine. So it's prevalent in India also. You give a small camera, nano camera, you ingest the camera using water. It goes through the entire gut. And then you can take a complete picture of the entire gut using a nano camera. You have nano syringes so that there is no pain. You have, all these are important. Then you have gene intervention. You can change genetic material to actually get you something. You can have tissue engineering. You can have an edible vaccination. All of them are important aspects of medicine. In the food industry, you can have food sense, safety, increasing shelf life, nutrition, quality, prevention infection, and close plasma technology. The fifth question is, what are the real life examples of biomedical technology? So, quoting from the Chitra examples, among the mechanical devices, we have the Chitra heart valve, which has actually been implanted in 1.5 lakh people. We have made deep brain stimulators where the electrode is implanted into the brain, and from a peripheral stimulator, you can continuously give signals to the brain, and that takes care of movement disorders and Parkinson's disease. We have pain and spinal cord stimulators. We have ventriculoperitoneal shunts. We have children with a large head with hydrocephalus, water in the brain. So the shunt diverts the water from the brain to the abdominal cavity and decreases hydrocephalus. There are cardiac stents. There are carotid stents. There are spinal implants, those spinal implants that you place in the spine in order to stabilize the spine. And human chip implantation is also in the future, where you can implant a chip to perform physiotherapy or even diagnostic studies on the chip. In biomaterials, we have just translated some drug-eluting microbeads. So supposing somebody has osteomyelitis, so there is a cavity in the bone, you just put these microbeads with drug-eluting microbeads, and osteoblasts or bone cells grow over these microbeads. We have embolic material which has just been translated, which means that using a minimally invasive technique, you can actually reach any part of the body and block these arteriovenous malformations of aneurysms, which are abnormalities of blood vessels. Artificial intelligence could be used in every significant thing. For example, in pathology, if you have a slide, you apply artificial intelligence, and you can actually, to 80 to 90% of the cases, actually diagnose the disease as well as the stage of the disease. Robotics is a very important aspect that we all know of. We apply in neurosurgery neuronavigation on a daily basis. What is neuronavigation? We have images of preoperative images of the patient. And there is a camera, a 3-chip camera, which is continuously watching the head of the patient. When we register the head of the patient with the camera, then every time we touch one anatomy in the brain on the three-dimensional images of the patient taken preoperatively, the exact position in XYZ plane comes on the images. So you will know where you are exactly in terms of the radiological imaging that you have done in the past. You also, very important point which we saw in the COVID about data processing. So what is a very important aspect is that you don't have to stop the entire state of Kerala. You can do selective screening, and if 2 districts have the disease, you can actually block the 2 districts and take care of that. You can actually do spot diagnosis in applied biology, where you can put just 1 drop of blood and you get the entire sequence of investigations related to one particular aspect, which Professor Mohanan is doing. We have tumor biology, where you can actually see the tumor biology. You can do its immunohistochemistry. And of course, the final point is testing, where you have surface testing, biomechanical testing, microbiological testing, immunological testing, and finally, before it goes to humans, there is animal testing. So it involves a huge spectrum of steps before any drug or any biomedical device can actually be implanted in the human being. My 6th question is, where does the end user come in? And this is where the surprising answer is. From the first step, most of the scientists and engineers who are doing basic science actually make a mistake. They read something, then they start developing it, and then somewhere along the way, they actually get blocked. Why do they get blocked? Because they actually don't know what is happening at the ground level. So farmers, doctors, restaurant owners, veterinary doctors, industry owners, all of them are important. Involve them from the beginning in your science, and suddenly, from the end user experience, you can recreate the entire product. My final question, which I ask myself is, where do I start? And each one of you, the students at the back, should ask yourself this question: where do I start? So first of all, you develop your own background and the grounds for collaboration. That's the first aspect. Then the second thing is, understand the existing fields around you and their cohesion potential. Not collision, their cohesion potential. That's a very important thing. You can't do everything. So you have to explore the fields around you, and based on those fields, you develop a strength which is not possible when you're alone. The third very, very important thing is that every day you should ask yourself one simple question: how do you strive for self-development? What did I do today that makes me special in my own eyes today? That's what you have to do. And the fourth is, for any product to be successful, for any product to be clinically useful, for any product to be commercially useful, I have noticed that one thing is very important: continuous collaboration with the end user. Because if you are a scientist, unless you know what the end user wants, you will never reach your target. You will just keep going around the bush. And finally, we think in science that we can remain in a silo in our own labs and not actually interact with the industry and commercial partners. It does not happen. Everything has a commercial value, and therefore continuous input to the industry partner and taking input from the industry partner is a very integral part of this innovative development that you have actually promised yourself to be an integral part of. Thank you very much for kind attention.
Thank you, sir, for clarifying us about the differences and various disciples of biotechnology, like the nanochip technology and edible vaccines. I'm sure your expertise and insights will have a profound impact on each and every one here. Now, I humbly request Dr. B. Ashok, IAS, to hand over the memento as a small token of appreciation to Professor Thomas Braun, Director, Max Planck Institute, and Dr. Sanjay Behari, Director of Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute of Science and Technology.
I also request Dr. Roy Stephen, Dean of Faculty, to hand over the memento to Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Vice Chancellor of Kerala Agricultural University.
With immense pleasure, I invite Dr. Thomas George, Professor and Principal Investigator, AINP, on Pesticide Residues and General Council Member of Kerala Agricultural University for felicitation.
Most respected President of this function, Dr. B. Ashok IAS, who is also the Vice Chancellor of Kerala Agricultural University, Dr. Thomas Braun, Director, Max Planck Institute of Heart and Lung Research, who inaugurated this function, Dr. Sanjay Behari, the chief guest of this function, Dr. Roy Stephen, Dean of Faculty Agriculture, Dr. Anith, Associate Director of Research, Dr. Allan Thomas, Dr. Swapna Alex, Ms. Kirtana, Dr. Archana, distinguished scientists, faculty members, and dear students. I feel proud and highly privileged and consider it as a rare opportunity for me to stand in your midst to felicitate on this 5-day International Biotechnology Conclave, which is being organized in this great campus. We all know that if you take the research frontiers in the last 40 years, you can see that there is a gradual shift from the traditional research to the research in the field of biotechnology, which is then focusing towards nanotechnology, then information technology. These are the three major frontier areas where a lot of research has been done in the last several years. And also we know that several people, researchers, worked hard in arriving at the suitable results for their work. And also a lot of funds have been diverted in these areas. Starting from the basic areas of molecular biology, then the fermentation technologies, transgenics, then the cloning, gene therapy, etc. The data generated through all these research activities have been documented, digitized, then analyzed by suitable algorithms to arrive at the suitable desired result from the research findings. And the bioinformatics also played a major role in arriving at the proper conclusions for the research programs. I'm sure that the deliberations, discussions, and the lectures being made here will definitely help the students, the researchers, and all those who are here to get a proper outlook on how to move forward in the respective areas of research and how to identify and select the suitable area or frontiers. And I also hope that this will help to develop a roadmap for the research approaches and to come out with a blueprint to go forward. I congratulate all the organizers of this program, especially Dr. Archana, Dr. Soni, and the entire Dr. Swapna and the entire staffs of the Department of Biotechnology and the students, and also the able leadership of Dr. Roy Stephen our Vice Chancellor, then our Dean, our Associate Director of Research, and the entire faculty. I congratulate all, and I wish all success for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Up next, for felicitations, I warmly welcome Dr. Anith K N, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Microbiology, Associate Director of Research, Regional Agricultural Research Station, Vellayani.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Dr. Thomas Braun, Dr. Sanjay Behari, other dignitaries in the dais, delegates, scientists from other organizations, students. I'm standing here with great pleasure because this is one of a different kind of a conclave that has been arranged here. This is for the first time, I suppose, such a conference is being organized at this campus. I take this opportunity to congratulate the organizers, especially the faculty and students of Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Soni, Dr. Swapna. A special mention to Dr. Archana R Sathyan, who ran from pillar to post to get the things done. Of course, I think we will be taking this as an opportunity to collaborate with the West, if not with the other organizations, those are doing research in Kerala, in a different discipline, of course. And this is an opportunity to spread our research areas to health sector also, because One Health is an approach that includes microbiome, human microbiome, plant microbiome, and many other things. Of course, as agriculturists, we will be able to contribute much to this One Health approach. Another thing is that it's time for the faculty and the students of biotechnology to change their mindset and then research in some other areas, not only in agricultural system, but with animal system, and of course, hardcore molecular biology, molecular genetics, and so much. Of course, ours is a small organization when it comes to numbers. This campus has received only $10 million in the last year, but I'm happy that, it contains around 70 projects, and many of them are target-oriented. Of course, in applied science, without a target orientation, the results will not be well appreciated. There are some pitfalls for that also. We are not into the basic science, and I urge all the faculty and students to take this as an opportunity to go into some basic research as well, so that the fundamentals are understood at a deeper level. I once again congratulate the organizers. Hope everybody will be indulging in the fruitful discussions, sharing of ideas, and further progress forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insights. With immense gratitude, I welcome Dr. Allan Thomas, Professor and Head, Department of Agricultural Extension Education, for felicitation.
Good evening to all. Respected Chair, Honorable Vice Chancellor of KU, Dr. B. Ashok IAS in absentia, Dr. Abel Thomas Braun, Director of Max Planck Institute of Art and Lung Research, respected guest on and off the stage, dear students, faculty, teachers, ladies and gentlemen. It's in fact a very proud moment for Department of Agriculture Extension Education to always have engaged with the Department of Biotechnology for such types of program. In a very short message, I would just like to remember late Dr. N. Kishore Kumar sir, who was the first person to have such who was the first person to have organized such a program. I still remember 8 to 10 years back when this course was offered, Dr. N. Kishore Kumar sir was the lead course teacher and I associated as an assistant professor. And the program was named as DNA. Followed that DNA 1, DNA 2, P53 twice, and it came to the level of state level program. At 2023, it's very nice to see that this event has turned to an international level where Dr. Archana R Sathyan, as the course teacher from Department of Agriculture Extension Education, is collaborating with the Department of Biotechnology for conducting this program. And the success of this program can be easily been observable with the distinguished guest in the dais and off the dais. As we all know, agriculture science today in this campus is with 24 disciplines, with a beautiful blend, a mix of fundamental science, applied science, and social science. I, as a social scientist, would always love to believe that either of the three does not have a standalone. If there should be a very beautiful branch of fundamental and applied science, it should be equally supported by the social science, and if social science needs to prosper, the applied science and the fundamental science should equally be very strong. As we embark on this exciting journey of exploration and collaboration, let's emphasize the value of uniting a global community of thinkers and innovators. Because today, innovation is much more faster than the invention part. Therefore, looking at the spirit of the biotechnology students who were formulating this program, I would like to represent Extension Department to appreciate them for collaborating with the dedicated faculty, researchers, students, and volunteers so that this program became a great success. I once more thank you all for being a part of the significant occasion, and I wish success for this noble program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your incredible insights. That was very informative. I kindly welcome Dr. Swapna Alex, Professor, Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, for felicitation.
Most respected dignitaries on and off the dais, faculty members, participants of the conclave, and dear students. Standing here before you, I get reminded of the famous quote by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Dream, dream, dream. Dreams get transformed into thoughts and thoughts into action. I'm really honored to offer felicitation on this great occasion as we have raised the curtain of BioZion, the International Biotechnology Conclave. It is indeed an extremely proud moment for all the faculty and students of College of Agriculture, Vellayani, and in particular, the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology. This program is a reflection of the fact that right mentorship can create leaders. Dr. Archana has already said, inspired the 2019 admission students of the BSc MSc Integrated Biotechnology course to conduct an international event as part of the course offered from the Extension Department. And from then onwards, there was no turning back. In nature, we often see birds look for a shelter during a rain, but the eagle flies over the rain. Likewise, powered by the support from the headquarters of KU, very positive attitude of our Dean of Faculty, Dr. Roy Stephen, ADR Dr. Anith, our HOD, Dr. Soni, and with the empowerment received from all the faculty members of the college who were in charge of the various committees, and of course, the sleepless nights put in by our student coordinators, the Biotechnology Conclave team could fly high over all the hurdles, and this wonderful day has become possible. This event also shows the great role students can perform in the transformation of an organization and a nation. Often we see people look for a beautiful place, but on the other hand, some others try to make the place beautiful. Thus today, our college has become all the more beautiful and intellectually stimulating with the presence of renowned scientists like Professor Dr. Abel Thomas Braun and all the other eminent scientists from highly reputed international and national institutes. We will be able to enjoy the fruit of a tree only if a seed is planted at the right time. Similarly, as all the speakers have already told, I am sure this event is going to plant a seed that will grow out to create many state-level, national, and international networking opportunities, the fruits of which can be harvested in abundance in future. Let me once again congratulate all the chairpersons, conveners, members, and student coordinators of the various committees of the Biotechnology Conclave, our partners, and also the collaborative team from Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute for making this international event possible. All best wishes for the success of this event, and hope and pray that this event will give all of us, and especially the participants and our students, many cherished memories for a lifetime. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for those eloquent words. We are privileged to have the company of some truly exceptional individuals who have graced us with their presence. Their expertise and insights will add immeasurable value to our discussions.
We extend our warm welcome to Dr. George Thomas, Chairman, Kerala State Biodiversity Board, Dr. Jisha MS, Director, School of Biosciences, MG University, Professor Dr. G.M. Nair, Director, Clef University of Kerala, former advisor KBC and former director of TBGRI, Palur. Dr. Sagar Pandit, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Pune. Dr. Balakumaran P.A., Scientist, Microbial Processes and Technology Division, CSIR, National Institute for Interdisciplinary Science and Technology.
Dr. Sharika A.R., Scientist, Kerala Biotechnology Commission. Dr. Binuja Thomas, Principal Scientist, Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment. Dr. Anup Vadakincherian, Cardiopulmonary Institute, Gießen, Germany. Dr. Mohanan P.V., Head, Toxicology Division and Department of Applied Biology. We also are extremely grateful for all the guests who have attended this program and is over here. We are extremely grateful for all who have lent a helping hand in the smooth running of the program. And we would like to extend our gratitude to our valued guests, partners, teachers, students who made BioZion a reality.
We are delighted to have our esteemed speakers who have generously shared their expertise and insights, igniting intellectual curiosity. Now, I welcome Ms. Kirtana J., Student Convener of BioZion, for the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries, chief guests, invited speakers, my dear teachers and friends. This is a dream coming true moment for us. BioZion, the biotech capstone, Science Society interviews. On the behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who be the part of the inauguration section. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished keynote speaker and chief guest, Professor Dr. Abel Thomas Braun, Director, Max Planck Institute for Heart and Lung Research, and his presence and participation will elevate this event to new heights. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and gracing us with your presence. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sanjay Behari, Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, for honoring us with your presence at the momentous inauguration ceremony. We deeply appreciate your valuable time and wisdom to share us today. I am also grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. B. Ashok IAS, Kerala Agriculture University, who provide unwavering support for our conclave. Thank you, sir, for being our integral part of this auspicious occasion. At this moment, it is with great admiration and appreciation that I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Roy Stephen, sir, Dean of Faculty, College of Agriculture, Vellayani. Now I thank Dr. Thomas Dor, GC member, Kerala Agriculture University, Dr. K N Anith, Associate Director of Research, Regional Agriculture Research Station, Vellayani, Dr. Allan Thomas, Professor and Head of Department of Agriculture Extension Education, Dr. Swapna Alex, Professor of Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, Dr. Sree Chitra, Head and Professor of Department of Biotechnology and Molecular Biology. We are also grateful to Dr. Archana R Sathyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Agriculture Extension Education, for your support, which has been instrumental in making this conclave a reality. Thank you, ma'am, for being backbone for us. I also want to thank Dr. Anu Vadakacharia, Postdoctoral Research Scientist, Just Labour University, and Dr. Mohan P.V. sir, Head of the Toxicology Division and Department of Applied Biology, Sree Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science and Technology, who help us unfold certain crisis stages. I also want to thank Mr. P.B. Nuhu, Director of Department of Tourism, and Mr. Nagesh, Chief of Agriculture Division, Kerala State Planning Board, for your guidance and contribution. Last but not least, I want to express my sincere appreciation for the tireless effort of our college teachers, committee members, volunteers, my batchmates and juniors, especially my batchmates, IBC 2090 batch, and our parents and everyone. Thank you so much for everyone for coming to inaugural section. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirtana. The inaugural ceremony is hereby finished. Esteemed guests and students, I kindly request to proceed for a tea break. We'll be back with a panel discussion sharp at 4:30. We expect all the audience to be present here after the tea break. It's going to be a very interesting panel discussion. See you then.